Okay, thanks everyone. I'm Alex Holmes. I'm Vice President Business Development with True Gold Mining. As you mentioned, we are regulars here. I think I was last up here and participating in this conference in fall of 2013, and since then True Gold has advanced a scoping study stage project in Burkina Faso through definitive feasibility study, permitting, project finance, and we're about 2 weeks away from first gold pour. And on March 4th of this year, we announced a transaction whereby Endeavour Mining proposes to acquire True Gold, and shareholders of True Gold will now become shareholders of Endeavour Mining. So today I'm going to talk a little bit about the transaction, but more from the perspective of why we like Endeavour and what we think why I think it's great to be a shareholder of Endeavour for our shareholders, and then a little bit of an update on the project for anyone interested. Cautionary statement. So on March 4th, we announced that each shareholder of True Gold would be entitled to receive 0.044 share of Endeavour Mining. What that means on that date was that it effectively implied a Canadian share price to True Gold of 57 cents a share. It was a premium, a change of control premium in line with sort of recent precedent transactions, about 43% to spot. And really what we like to emphasize here is that shareholders of True Gold own about 22% of what we see as one of the fastest growing intermediate gold producers with a good cost profile, a group that's deleveraged itself over the last 8 months, I should say, and has a great asset base that our shareholders will get to participate in. So I won't spend much time on the transaction terms. This presentation is on our website if you'd like to look at that in any detail. So I've already touched on the significant upfront premium to shareholders, owning about 22% of the pro forma company. And what Karma becomes within the portfolio, Karma being the primary asset of True Gold, is one of the cornerstone assets, and together with Endeavour's other assets, really sort of sets the pro forma company up for roughly 8 to 10 year mine life, 4 or 5 producing mines, and on a path to about 900,000 ounces a year of production. It diversifies True Gold's asset base from a single asset company. I'm sure many of you are familiar. It tends to be more risky as a single asset company, and what this transaction does is it provides shareholders with additional liquidity, a 5-mine portfolio, and a very strong supportive shareholder base, with the capital required to build one of their next growth assets, Hyundai, which is also in Burkina Faso. So Endeavour, as it is today, is roughly, for 2016, roughly a 550,000 ounce producer, roughly 900,000 ounce all-in sustaining cost, 4.6 million ounces of reserves, and a significant exploration land package. In fact, I think the pro forma company is probably one of the largest exploration land packages in West Africa. It's got a great project pipeline. So the Hyundai project is fully permitted and construction ready. As part of this transaction, one of their significant shareholders, La Mancha Holdings, injected an additional $80 million in cash into the company. That now gives them about $300 million in liquidity to build the Hyundai project. And so together with cash flow from 2016, we anticipate an announcement by Endeavour on a construction decision once Karma is up and running. The other thing Endeavour's done over the last 8 months, as I said, is reduced its net debt. It's a company that preferred debt over equity for a number of years, which works in certain environments, but it's now coming down to probably one of the lowest net debt intermediate producers out there today. This is what the combined portfolio looks like. So the Karma mine up in Burkina Faso in yellow, the Hyundai project in blue. Yuga project, they just sold. They sold that for $20 million US cash. They've got the Nzema mine in Ghana, and then over to Cote d'Ivoire, the Agbel mine, which has been a top performer, and the Ity mine, which is currently a heap leach mine, actually very similar to Karma. It's about a quarter of the size. Has been in production. I think it's actually Cote d'Ivoire's longest operating gold mine. And there's the heap leach mine with a large exploration land package, and then there's certain category of ounces that are CIL processable, and that's undergoing a feasibility study stage. And that should be out in the second half of 2016. So this is one of the reasons we think this is a great deal for our shareholders, to own 22% of a company that's got roughly 20% production growth from here till 2018. So this assumes Karma included and the Hyundai project coming online. So about 900,000 ounces of production. That's definitely going to be at the top end of the intermediate producer universe. It's unlocked quite a significant amount of cash and capital to build the Hyundai project, to realize on that growth without additional equity dilution. They've got a robust cash position, roughly $200 million, and net debt's gone from $254 earlier last year down to about $70 million as of today. And that's pretty significant in the sense that I think certainly for the North American capital markets, the Endeavour was viewed as a company that had sort of a fair bit of leverage and wasn't in front of investors quite often enough. And so over the last 8 months, that net debt reduction is quite significant, and we see that the North American audience is really going to start to pay attention to their growth story. Far right-hand side, you see True Gold at about 100,000 ounces on average. Endeavour at around 555, taking that midpoint, so pro forma about a 650,000 ounce producer, with that growth profile to approximately 900,000 ounces in 2018. Again, that growth profile is very attractive, we believe, for our shareholders. It's an interesting graphic. It's the free cash flow yield. The bankers put this together, but effectively free cash flow per dollar of market cap. So pro forma Endeavour sitting at just under 30% relative to a peer group across the board. It's certainly in the top end of that intermediate producer universe. We like that. The other thing is price to cash flow. So how does it trade relative to the peer group? The average is roughly about 7 times price to cash flow. Endeavour trades at about 4.4 times pro forma. We see potential and opportunity here to at least get up to the mean at about 7 times, and so we see additional value upside in the Endeavour stock for our shareholders. And this is what the pro forma market cap looks like today. So about 650 million, this is US dollars, about 650 million. When you look across the suite of assets and how some of the recent performers have done, such as Oceana Gold, post closing of their Remarco transaction, up about 65%, we think that the market's going to start to pay attention to this pro forma company going forward. I won't go into the Endeavour asset details, but I will give an update on the Karma project. So quick overview, roughly 110 to 120,000 ounce a year producer for the first 5 years, about 100,000 ounces for the full life of the mine. 700 million all-in sustaining costs first 5 years. This is a big land package. It's open pit, heap leach, oxide. There are sulfide routes, but the mine itself is just focused on the oxides. It's shallow free digging material. It's a very low strip ratio. There's 5 pits, and I'll show you a graphic in a second. Very strong and rapid recoveries, so the majority of the gold actually comes out in about 10 days from the material and all the test work that was completed, and we're just starting to get to see that today. Very low power requirements, which is a nice thing to have in this part of the world, and year-round water supply, and that's because we built a dam that effectively captures all the water we need. We've had great success with the local workforce. We're sitting at roughly 35 to 40 expats. We peaked at peak construction at about 1,200 employees, and we're ramping down to about 600 for the operating team. Here's a site layout. So this is within a 900 square kilometer land package. We're mining today at Gulagu 2, which is the pit just above the leach pad. You see a graphic of the raw water pond. So that's been filled for roughly 4 or 5 months. And then down at the bottom left, you see the dam that was built to capture water, and then we pipe that water up to site. See the ADR plant and the solution ponds as well in there. So today we're about 97% complete, about 2 weeks away from first gold pour, approximately 10 million left to spend. Here's some pictures of construction in progress. Right-hand side gold room is actually complete. Pipe work, visits from local community members, etc. Agglomeration drum. So when I mentioned that the ITI project that Endeavour has is very similar to this, it's about a quarter of the size. It's exactly the same. Open pit heap leach, basically soft rock sizer, agglomerator drum. There's six stacks high now on that. It's been running for, I think, roughly 25 years and achieving over 90% recoveries. This is progress from June 2015 to Feb 2016 with the raw water pond. August to Feb on the heap leach cells and the grasshopper stackers. This was something that the North Cow deposit is something that our team discovered and drilled off in 2014. So it would have been after the first time we came to the Swiss Mining Institute conference. And what this did was effectively add 2.5 to 3 years to the mine life. So it's just an example of how the resource could grow. And this added in total about 50% to the resource base. This is the complete land package. And if you can see, this is where we were talking about the mine itself. And this is another project in the portfolio, also in Burkina Faso, much earlier stage, LIGUIDI project, exploration project, which we're very excited about, and with Endeavour's commitment, sort of a renewed commitment to exploration as being part of their goals and objectives. We think this project will get some time and attention, as will the other projects in the portfolio. And that's everything.
Okay, well, thank you for coming all this way to update us on this acquisition. A quick question before lunch, or we go straight for lunch? Lunch. Thank you very much again.